Welcome to the video replay for Double Up Trivia for October 11th, 2020. This replay just has the questions and answers, but if you do want to join the actual live trivia event, it streams every Sunday at 7 p.m. Pacific at twitch.tv/yearofglad. So we hope to see you there, but for now, here is the replay for the 11th of October, 2020. In round one, there are 8 questions, and teams usually see all 8 questions before submitting their answers, but in this video I'm just going to do one question followed by the answer, and the next question followed by the next answer. If you need more time to think about the question, just go ahead and pause the video. Here is round 1, question number 1. The common name of AL-288-1, whose skeletal remains were discovered in 1974 in Ethiopia, is the same as that of the titular character in a 2014 film. Who played that titular character? And the common name of AL-288-1 was Lucy, and in the film Lucy, that role was played by Scarlett Johansson. Round 1, question number 2. What question and answer site for programmers with the logo shown here has a name which refers to an error, often caused by infinite recursion? That question and answer site is Stack Overflow. Round 1, question number 3. Richard Dawkins introduced what term, which he defined as the behavioral equivalent of a gene, in his 1976 book, The Selfish Gene? And that term is meme. Dawkins said that just as genes are self-replicating units, memes are also self-replicating. Round 1, question number 4. What person who shares his name with a U.S. president was presumably killed in Mount St. Helens' 1980 eruption, as the lodge he owned at the foot of the mountain was buried under 150 feet of volcanic debris? That person's name was Harry Truman. He refused to leave, saying that mountain's part of Truman and Truman's part of that mountain. Round 1, question number 5. In mathematics, the set of real numbers combined with the operation of addition forms an abelian group. What mathematical property is denoted by the word abelian? And the word abelian denotes the mathematical property of commutativity. And the word comes from the name of Norwegian mathematician Niels Henrik Abel. Round 1, question number 6. The baseball stadium in what city will hold the same unusual distinction in 2020? The New York City's Polo Grounds held in 1921 and 1922, and St. Louis's Sportsman's Park held in 1944. And the unusual distinction is those 3 parks all hosted all 7 games of that year's World Series. And that will be true for the stadium in Arlington, Texas this year, where they will host as many games of the World Series as there are. Round 1, question number 7. What person declared dead on July 30th, 1982 has been portrayed on TV and in film by Robert Blake, Tom Bosley, Jack Nicholson, and Al Pacino? That person was Jimmy Hoffa, whose middle name was, weirdly, Riddle. Jimmy Riddle Hoffa. Round 1, question number 8. Adding a letter to the last name of a person whose most famous portrait was painted by Lucas Cranach the Elder in 1529 gives what 7-letter word, which can describe Andrea Amati, Christian Frederick Martin, or Orville Gibson? And the person whose most famous portrait was painted by Lucas Cranach the Elder is Martin Luther. Adding a single letter gives luthier, which describes Amati, Martin, and Gibson. They are all famous for building string instruments, violins, guitars, and guitars. That is the end of round 1 and brings us to the speed round for this week, which is Order Up. So teams in Order Up are given 6 items to put into order, and then they are awarded points based on how accurate their order is compared to the actual correct order. In this week's Order Up, put the cities in alphabetical order. based on the current nicknames of their indicated sports teams. And these 6 cities are Anaheim, their NHL team, Houston, MLS, Las Vegas, NHL, Las Vegas, WNBA, Philadelphia, MLS, and Seattle, WNBA. And putting those cities in order based on the current nicknames of their sports teams gives this list: the Las Vegas Aces of the WNBA, the Anaheim Ducks of the NHL, the Houston Dynamo of MLS, the Las Vegas Golden Knights of the NHL, the Seattle Storm of the WNBA, and finally the Philadelphia Union of the MLS. That brings us to round 2, which works exactly the same as round 1. Here is round 2, question number 1. Alfred Lord Tennyson's Charge of the Light Brigade, written and published in 1854, is a poem about the Battle of Balaclava, which took place during what war? And that battle took place during the Crimean War. Round 2, question number 2. The person-born Lawrence Turreau starred in what TV Land reality series in 2006, the title of which was a famous 4-word catchphrase he first uttered in a 1982 film? And Lawrence Turreau is better known as Mr. T. Of course, Mr. T's famous catchphrase from Rocky III is "I Pity the Fool," which was also the name of his reality show. Round 2, question number 3. In the first year of Lilith Fair, Sarah McLachlan and what other bright star were the only 2 artists to play all 37 dates? And one of the clues here is that it is a bright star. The answer is Suzanne Vega, Vega being the brightest star in the constellation Lyra, and was once the North Star and will be again in about 11,000 years. Round 2, question number 4. For more than 60 years, actor Hal Holbrook staged a one-man show in which he recited humorous writings as well as selections focused on social commentary, written by what American author, who died in 1910? That American author, portrayed by Hal Holbrook, was Mark Twain. And Holbrook did it for 60 years in a row, and then officially ended the play in 2017. Round 2, question number 5. Photographer Steve McCurry took an iconic photograph of Sharbat Gula, a photo which appeared on the June 1985 cover of what magazine? And that photo appeared on the cover of National Geographic as shown here. Round 2, question number 6. In 2014, a 12-foot tall statue of a gorilla made of 40,000 metal spoons was put on display in the garden of what person who, in a notable 1973 appearance on The Tonight Show, was unable to perform any of his usual feats? And that person was renowned psychic Uri Geller. Round 2, question number 7. The Jacques Offenbach composition Galop Infernal from his operetta Orpheus in the Underworld is often used as the music accompanying what dance? And that Offenbach composition often accompanies the can-can. Round 2, question number 8. 3 people were rejected by record label EMI for inclusion on the cover of the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Who are 2 of the 3 people? And if teams were able to name 2 of the 3 people, they could, for a bonus 2 points, name the 3rd person that was rejected for inclusion on the cover. And those 3 people, in no particular order, were Adolf Hitler, Jesus Christ, and Mahatma Gandhi. The Beatles did not include Elvis on the cover because he was, quote, too important and too far above the rest to even mention. And that is the end of round 2. In round 3, teams are given usually 8 clues. They just have to answer 5 of them, and they're awarded points based on how common or rare the answers that they choose to give are. For this week's round 3, Per FIFA, only 8 nations have ever won the Men's FIFA World Cup. Each of the 8 answers on the following page begins with the first 3 letters of the name of a different one of those 8 nations. What are 5 of the 8 answers to the clues on the following page? And here are the 8 clues. A type of large, powerful orc bred by Saruman and Isengard. African capital located on a river opposite Kinshasa. New romantic band formed in Islington in 1979, whose only top 10 US hit was True. Shared first name of characters portrayed by Matt Damon and Casey Affleck in a 2002 Gus Van Sant film. Lake noted for being the headwaters of the Mississippi. Best Picture winner that shares its name with a mythological ship. First and last name of composer of Hansel and Gretel, as well as of Balladeer with 140 million records sold worldwide. And finally, beatified friar who painted the frescoes of the Chapel of the Holy Sacrament at St. Peter's Basilica. And the answers for this week's final round, the type of large, powerful orc, they are the Uruk-hai, and U-R-U, at the first 3 letters in Uruguay. The African capital, located opposite Kinshasa, is Brazzaville, B-R-A, being the beginning of Brazil. The new romantic band, whose only top 10 US hit was True, is Spandau Ballet, S-P-A for Spain. The shared first name of characters from a 2002 Gus Van Sant film, that film, and the first name of the characters is Jerry, the G-E-R for Germany. Lake, noted for being the headwaters of the Mississippi, that is Itasca, and the I-T-A for Italy. Best Picture winner that shares its name with a mythological ship, that is Argo, the A-R-G for Argentina. First and last name of composer of Hansel and Gretel, as well as of Balladeer with 140 million records sold worldwide, that is Engelbert Humperdinck, and the E-N-G for England. And finally, the beatified friar who painted the frescoes of the Chapel of the Holy Sacrament at St. Peter's Basilica. That friar was Fra Angelico, the F-R-A for France. And that brings us to the end of this week's replay for Double Up Trivia. Again, if you want to join in at the actual live trivia event, it's every Sunday, streaming on Twitch at twitch.tv/yearofglad. Streams at 7 p.m. Pacific. There's no cost to play. There's no prizes, but come join the quiz, play along, hang out, have a good time. Thanks for watching this video, and we'll see you next week.